Latisha Scott and her husband, Latisha Scott, have always presented themselves as one of the strongest couples on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. For years, they have shown viewers their journey as business owners, parents, and reality stars who focus on building generational wealth. But now, shocking details have placed them in the middle of one of the most serious scandals the show has ever faced. Reports claim that the FBI, yes, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, got involved with the Scotts, and not only did arrests allegedly take place, but the couple ended up in a position where they were demanding an apology. This situation has completely shaken their public image and left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about Latisha and Marceau. The news that the FBI had any reason to knock on the Scotts' door was enough to shock viewers. Normally, when fans think about drama on reality television, it involves arguments, cheating rumors, business rivalries, or family tension. But what makes this situation different is that it went beyond television. The FBI is not a group that deals with simple gossip. When federal investigators step in, it means they believe there is something bigger at play. For Latisha and Marceau, the sudden involvement of the FBI has raised questions about their businesses, their finances, and the way they have conducted themselves over the years. To understand how the Scotts ended up in this position, we need to look back at their history on the show. From the beginning, their storyline has revolved around entrepreneurship. Marceau has often spoken about his construction company, his real estate projects, and his role in Huntsville's business community. Together, the couple has also shown their cigar lounge, as well as other investments. They've painted themselves as a hardworking family focused on success, growth, and wealth building. But when you are on television, showcasing wealth and business growth, you also attract extra attention. That attention can be from fans, critics, rivals, and in some cases, even investigators. Sources suggest that whispers about the Scotts' finances began months before this FBI situation. People close to production and within the Huntsville community noticed there were tensions, possible inconsistencies, and questions about certain contracts. Normally, that type of situation might only lead to a tax audit, disputes with partners, or private lawsuits. But when it grows beyond that, especially if it involves interstate transactions, wire transfers, or money tied to government contracts, then it becomes the type of case that federal investigators are interested in. And that is exactly what seems to have happened with the Scotts. Experts point to several reasons why the FBI could have stepped in. First, there could have been financial irregularities, such as allegations of funds being mismanaged or misreported. If large amounts of money are moving and they involve investors or public funds, that raises red flags. Second, business partnerships could have played a role. If Marceau's construction ventures or other companies were tied to questionable contracts, it only takes one partner or competitor filing a complaint to spark an investigation. Third, their high profile as reality stars makes them stand out even more. What might go unnoticed with private business owners can easily become a federal case when it involves people on national television. Lastly, anonymous tips often play a huge role. A disgruntled employee, a rival, or even a former friend could have provided information that led investigators to start digging into the Scotts' businesses. Fans began noticing changes in the Scotts' behavior before the news of the arrests broke. On social media, the couple became less active, posting fewer updates about their businesses and lives. For a family that normally uses social media as a tool to promote their ventures, that silence raised eyebrows. People began wondering if they were already under investigation or had been advised to stay quiet. Then came the alleged day of the arrests, and the story took a turn that no one saw coming. Reports claim that federal agents arrived at the Scotts' home in a very deliberate and structured way. Neighbors noticed unmarked vehicles pulling up, followed by agents stepping out in dark suits with the letters FBI on their jackets. It was not a quiet situation. Agents reportedly surrounded the home, knocked firmly on the door, and executed their warrants. Inside, the Scotts were said to be shocked. Latisha, who has always presented herself as calm, supportive, and focused on keeping her family strong, now faced a situation that no amount of composure could fix. Marceau, who often prides himself on being in control, found himself powerless as agents took charge. What shocked fans even more was the possibility that the Scotts' children were home during the arrest. Some reports suggest that their kids witnessed the scene unfold, seeing their parents confronted and possibly taken away in handcuffs. That image, if true, would be devastating for any family. For children to see their parents in that type of situation could leave emotional scars that go far beyond the cameras of reality TV. Once in custody, Latisha and Marceau were reportedly taken to a federal facility for processing. That means fingerprinting, mug shots, and hours of questioning. For reality stars who built their lives on public image, the thought of mug shots being out there is terrifying. These types of photos are permanent records, and once leaked or released, they can spread instantly across social media. During questioning, sources say the couple maintained their innocence. They claimed that they were being set up, that business rivals or jealous outsiders had twisted the truth against them. They believed this was not only about legal matters but also about reputation and power. But the FBI does not make arrests lightly. By the time agents decide to take someone into custody, they usually already have significant evidence, bank records, contracts, financial statements, or digital trails that they believe tell a clear story. This left fans wondering whether the Scotts were simply caught in a larger investigation or whether they were central figures in it. Either way, the arrest marked a turning point. After the arrests, things took an even stranger turn. Instead of keeping quiet and waiting for the legal process to play out, Latisha and Marceau reportedly demanded an apology. Yes, they were taken into custody, processed, and questioned, but then they insisted that someone owed them an apology. The question is, who were they demanding this apology from? Was it the FBI for allegedly acting too fast? Was it the media for spreading the story before all the facts were known? Or was it even castmates and rivals, people they believed had been pushing negative narratives about them for years? This demand for an apology shocked fans even more than the arrests. On social media, people reacted instantly. Some laughed, creating memes and jokes about the Scotts demanding an apology after being handcuffed. Others were more serious, pointing out that if the Scotts were innocent, then yes, they might deserve an apology for the humiliation they endured. But if they were guilty, then demanding an apology would make them look arrogant or delusional. This divided the fanbase and created heated debates in online groups and forums. What complicates things further is that some insiders claim the Scotts' legal team may have encouraged them to push for an apology. This could mean that the evidence against them was not as strong as people assumed, or that there were mistakes in how the arrests were handled. If that's true, then the Scotts might have believed they could clear their names and use the apology demand as a way to regain their dignity. But that's still a very risky move. As this story spread, speculation grew that the FBI investigation might not stop with Latisha and Marceau. Some whispers suggest that other people in Huntsville's business community or even cast members from the show could be linked to the same investigation. If that's the case, then this situation could expand into something much bigger than just the Scotts. It could potentially expose a network of questionable financial dealings tied to multiple businesses. For now, fans are left with more questions than answers. Were the Scotts truly targeted unfairly? Were they simply caught in the middle of something larger? Or were they directly involved in actions that drew the attention of federal investigators? What is clear is that their demand for an apology has put them in a very unusual position. If they are found guilty, the apology demand will haunt them forever. But if they are cleared, then it could flip the entire story upside down and force people to admit they judged them too soon. No matter how this plays out, this is one of the biggest scandals to ever hit Love and Marriage, Huntsville. The FBI's involvement takes the drama off the screen and into real life in a way no one could have predicted. Latisha and Marceau Scott are now fighting not just for their businesses and reputations but also for their legacy as a couple who wanted to inspire others. Whether they come out of this stronger or whether this becomes the downfall of their public image remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, this scandal has changed everything.